Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It is another great day when we can partner with South Simcoe Police to really highlight the importance of local policing, the great work South Simcoe does, and our Team Ontario approach, as I'm here with two of my great cabinet colleagues, Minister Kersner and Minister Mulrooney. I'm the local MPP for Barrie-Innisfil, and there isn't a day when I don't drive by in the community and I see the great importance that South Simcoe Police has in our community. From keeping our streets safe, to being great community advocates, to inspiring the next generation of youth to take on the role of policing and being part of our future force. And that is what our community and South Simcoe really stands for. It's not just law enforcement, it's also being the spirit of the community. And so I'm proud to say that to date, our government has really delivered on our response to ensuring that our streets and our communities are safe. Since 2018, our government's been able to deliver about $7 million to South Simcoe Police service, and that speaks to the great resiliency of the police force. They constantly take the time to apply for grants and of course come to our government to emphasize the importance of local policing. It wouldn't be possible with a great police chief like Chief Van Dyke we have here, and of course the chair of our police board, Chris Garapi. So I am delighted to be here because mental health and any crisis response is greatly needed in our community, and you'll hear more about that as we get through the announcement today. It brings me great joy to welcome my great colleague who shares in South Simcoe Police, knows the importance of South Simcoe Police, and knows that investing in the mobile crisis response team today and mental health means better response times for our first responders, better response time for our community, and overall better mental health and a better healthy community. So without further ado, I'll introduce Minister Mulrooney. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Well, thank you, Andrea, for that introduction, for hosting us here in beautiful Innisfil. I do share in South Simcoe Police. Of course, Bradford is part of my riding, and so I know personally of the great work that South Simcoe Police does, not just here at Innisfil, but across South Simcoe. Chief Van Dyke and Chair Garapi, thank you so much for hosting this event here and welcoming us. And of course, I'm just so pleased that the Solicitor General, Michael Kersner, is here as well, just underlining with his presence the importance of this announcement and the funding that we're announcing today and what it actually does. You know, first responders attend real life crisis situations, and as a layperson, I'm always so impressed by the level of professionalism, but really the sophisticated training that they bring to every crisis situation. But in a crisis, you really need to be nuanced. And it's important to be prepared for anything that you can encounter. Not only is it important for the public, but it's also important for our first responders. First responders know how to support people in a blink of a crisis. And so that's why our government is supporting the South Simcoe Police with a mobile crisis response grant in the amount of $120,000. This support will enhance crisis response here in South Simcoe by enabling police to work alongside trained crisis workers when responding to individuals in need. Responding to individuals with complex developmental, mental health, or substance-related needs requires specialized training for first responders. Now, being a first responder is much more than just wearing a badge, wearing a uniform, or carrying a badge. You provide counsel, medical support, and guidance to help people access services. I really don't know how you do it, and we thank you for your service every single day. The emergencies that face police services are evolving daily, and they are becoming far more complex and dangerous. Strengthening the team's capacity to respond safely, supporting both the public and your members, is one of the most meaningful ways we can support your work. And I have heard firsthand in my role as president of the Treasury Board about this grant and how important it is to police services to help them do their jobs even better. In addition to strengthening crisis response, support for first responders themselves is equally important. And under the Mental Health Supports for Public Safety Personnel program, our government is proud to announce that we will also be supporting South Simcoe Police by providing an additional $25,000 to ensure that those providing help receive the help that they need when the pressures of the job become overwhelming. So under the leadership of Premier Ford and with the support of the Solicitor General, we are ensuring that first responders have access to tailored mental health supports so that they can continue serving the public with strength and resilience. So thank you again to Chief Van Dyke for hosting us today. I also want to acknowledge the exceptional work of your mobile crisis response team, now known as Project Elevate. So thank you to all that you do for South Simcoe. I hope that this support helps the team continue its important work and that our partnership that remains essential to this ongoing success continues for a very long time. So thank you very much. And with that, I turn it over to Minister Kersner.
Thank you. Well, thank you. There's no two finer people to represent the area that we are in, Innisfil and Bradford, than Minister Mulrooney and Minister Khanjin. They bring the concerns of this community to Queen's Park every single day. And I have the great privilege of sitting with them in committees and in cabinet and in caucus. And I want to thank them for their advocacy. Every time I visit here, which is actually quite frequently, I think of the late Morgan Russell and Devon Northrup. I think in Devon's family and Annie, and in Morgan's family of Marissa and her two girls. I think of the fact that when Devon and Morgan lived, they loved their career right here in South Simcoe Police Service. It's just really, every time I'm here, I'm thinking of them and their families. I want to thank Chief Van Dyke for not only being there at the moment and the days following, but for his steadfast leadership in turning South Simcoe Police Service into a flagship in Ontario. And I'm very proud to stand with the men and women every single day that put on the uniform to keep this part of Ontario safe. Chair, I want to acknowledge the leadership that the board plays as well, because this is a great service and it is led by exceptional people. And I want to also give a shout out to the South Simcoe Police Association for their amazing work and representation. We're here because the government of Ontario, led by Premier Ford, believes that when you protect Ontario, you have everything. You have communities that you can raise your families in and see them off to school and check in on our seniors and play in the park and shop and worship. And that's very important. Protect Ontario means protect us economically as well, so that we have businesses that flourish regardless of the times that find us in. We want to protect Ontario by having the finest health care as well. It goes back, the common thread to everything is in fact public safety. Everything revolves around having safe communities. The proactive grants that the Ontario government has come forward with, the Mobile Crisis Response Team Grant, or MCERT, is a grant that allows police officers to be paired up with healthcare professionals. So in times of crisis, they have that much extra help to de-escalate and to assist a family that is in need. I'm happy, I'm very proud that South Simcoe Police Service is a recipient of this MCERT grant. It is very important. And I can tell you, as I'm the minister responsible for the Ontario Police College, I've seen, Chief, when many cadets that go to the Ontario Police College and come back here to beautiful Innisfil and Bradford receive their training, the foundational training is understanding that you may be responding to a crisis, a mental health response crisis. We need to make sure that not only are you best prepared to respond, but now there will be a healthcare professional that will help you along the way. And finally, I think the seriousness that our government takes the well-being of our police officers is very important. We can't have strong police services if those in uniform are themselves not well. And that's why our government has also addressed this through the grant that Minister Mulrooney has referred to. In the end of the day, I'm proud to stand with my colleagues. I'm proud to visit this beautiful police service, not in a transient way, but in a way that shows how committed I am for the welfare and the safety of beautiful Innisfil and Bradford and the communities that that make up this area. And in the end of the day, I will be unapologetic in standing up for the fundamental rights that we all have as Ontarians to go about our lives in a peaceful way where virtually everyone shares the same goal. We want to live in a society that's lawful, and we want to know, God forbid, we need help, that there's people like South Simcoe Police Service that will be there to help us. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, and miigwech.
Thank you, Minister. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the South Simcoe Police Service, I would like to thank the Government of Ontario for this important investment, for its continued support for community safety and mental health initiatives. I extend our sincere appreciation to the Honourable Michael Kersner, Solicitor General, the Honourable Carolyn Mulrooney, MPP for York Simcoe, Minister of Francophone Affairs, and President of the Treasury Board. And finally, the Honourable Andrea Khanjin, MPP for Barrie Innisfil and Minister of Red Tape Reduction. Thank you for being here today. I also want to recognize Chris Garrity, Chair of the Bradford West Gwillimbury Police Services Board, for joining us here today. As well, members of our senior leadership team in the back of the room, staff, and everyone in attendance, especially our MCERT team who is here this morning as well. This funding is critically important to the South Simcoe Police Service and the communities of Bradford, West Gwillimbury, and Innisfil. When someone is experiencing a mental health or addiction crisis, how we respond matters, and it matters a lot. It can change outcomes, and it can save lives. Our service is committed to responding with compassion, professionalism, and care in every situation. The Mobile Crisis Response Team allows police officers to work side by side with trained crisis professionals. This team helps de-escalate situations, reduce risk, and connect people to the right services at the right time. This investment strengthens our MCERT program and enhances community safety. It will allow us to maintain 7 days per week MCERT coverage in our communities. The mental health supports for public safety program funding allows us to provide resiliency training through Warrior Health to 122 frontline officers and communicators to help them develop coping mechanisms and strategies to mitigate the damage caused by their exposure to on-the-job trauma. And as you know, there is lots of it. Ministers, on behalf of the South Simcoe Police Service and the board, thank you for supporting a model that puts people, safety, and compassion first. Thank you.
I'd like to open the floor for any questions.
Minister Kersner, if I can just ask, this is a grant for South Simcoe. Are there grants going across the province as well for other services?
Oh, this is a grant that is $9 million over 2 years. Many police services across the province will receive it. They have to apply for it, and it has to be considered. But I am really, really pleased that South Simcoe wrote an application and submitted it. There are many different grants that South Simcoe has received. Minister Mulrooney spoke about it, or Minister Khanjin rather, to the tune of millions of dollars in the last 6 years. But it's a proactive approach that our government has made, that we will come forward with grants that will help fight auto theft, keep violent and repeat offenders off our streets, make sure that the health and welfare of our first responders are top of mind, and also that we have created programs like this so that we can pair up a healthcare professional a practitioner with a police officer, because we know in many cases this will change the outcome in a very, very positive way.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. President, if I could ask. Normally, in the past 3 years, this grant for South Simcoe, for MSERT in particular, has been about $117,800. Why the increase this year?
Well, again, this is something that each year there's an application process. The police service states the amount of the program, and then at the end of the day, many times I will go back to Treasury Board and present to my colleague, the President, why we need this grant across the province. She has been a phenomenal supporter, as is Minister Kanjan. But again, this grant is just one of many grants. The Community Safety and Policing Grant is probably the largest of the grants which police services apply to, that will help them execute their priorities with the partnership and investment by the Government of Ontario. This is an important grant, and we know that every situation of a mental health care response crisis can be de-escalated and resolved in a much more positive way with the healthcare practitioners working together with the police service. And by the way, each police service has their own formula for working with healthcare teams. It's different in Windsor than might be here in South Simcoe. But I'm really, really proud of the service, and specifically under the leadership of Chief John Van Dyke. I've gotten to know Chief since the fall of 2022, months after I was sworn into office. I saw his leadership in the days after we lost Morgan and Devon. This is an exceptional police leader, not just in Ontario, but I might add in Canada, and he is surrounded by exceptional command leaders, and I want to give them recognition because they all deserve it.
This might be for the chief, but could you paint like a before and after picture of what the sexual funding will do, maybe on the ground in the community?
So one thing it allows us to do is to have 7-day-a-week coverage, right? So they'll be working a shift 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. During what we have determined through analytics to be, our peak call volumes for crisis response. But it allows us really, with our MSERT team, with a trained crisis worker, it allows us to have better outcomes. Not only do they attend to an immediate acute call, but they do follow-ups later, after the fact. So when they've dealt with somebody in the community, they follow up with them later to make sure that they are continuing maybe with their course of medication they may take or the counseling that they need. They make sure that they're following up on the support referrals that were given to them. So the whole idea is to prevent a crisis incident from happening a second time. So it has a huge impact and a great impact and good outcomes for individuals in crisis, but obviously for public safety as well.
You're watching Rogers TV.
Ane Sego Nakermiak Tanshe, greetings in Ojibwe, Mohawk, Inuktitut, and Mishif. We're thrilled to have the Honorable Nolan Quinn, Minister of Colleges, Universities, Research Excellence and Security, with us today for a special announcement. I'd also like to welcome the Honorable Jill Dunlop, Minister of Emergency Preparedness and Response and MPP for Simcoe North, and the Honorable Andrea Kanjan, Minister of Red Tape Reduction and MPP for Barrie Innisfil. I'd also like to welcome Georgian College's Board of Governors Chair Kimberly Greenwood, and we're also fortunate to have several industry partners in the room. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your continued partnership. And of course, a warm welcome to our students and employees joining us this morning. We'll begin by acknowledging the land we're on. We do this at Georgian as one small step on our continued journey of truth and reconciliation. Georgian College acknowledges that all campuses are situated on the traditional land of the Anishinaabe people. The Anishinaabe include the Odawa, Ojibwe, and Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. Georgian College is dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people. Georgian is a respected partner and leader in driving economic growth and fostering long-term sustainability across Ontario and beyond. With key commitments in our strategic plan and our Centre of Industrial Simulation and Prototyping's new national designation as a Technology Access Centre, Georgian is supporting industry to innovate and thrive. Together, we're accelerating transformation across key sectors and advancing applied research activity to solve complex challenges and ensure regional competitiveness. And we're preparing a future-ready workforce. Building Ontario's talent pipeline to address emerging labor gaps and innovative opportunities that drive economic growth and community well-being. Facilitating our collaborative applied research and innovation efforts is Dr. Mira Ray, Georgian's Executive Director of Research, Innovation and Entrepreneurship, who I invite to say a few words. Dr. Ray?
Thank you, Kevin. At Georgian College, we believe partnerships are the key to accelerating innovation across all sectors. Innovation, and ultimately meaningful change, thrives at the intersection of government, post-secondary institutions, industry, and community. We take immense pride in turning ideas to outcomes faster by co-creating viable and scalable solutions with regional employers, not-for-profit organizations, and entrepreneurs. Building on Industry 4.0 concepts that leverage advanced digital technologies to make industries more efficient, responsive, and intelligent, Georgian is the first institution in Ontario to operate an Industry 5.0 sandbox. This means we're not just advancing technology, we're helping to design solutions that put people at the center, strengthening resiliency, sustainability, and collaboration across sectors. Our Centre of Industrial Simulation and Prototyping, which our president has already mentioned is designated a National Technology Access Centre, is a space where manufacturers can test, develop, and refine new technologies in a safe, flexible environment. Through our work, the Centre is deepening ties with local industry, strengthening the region's innovation ecosystem, and expanding opportunities for students to gain hands-on experience with real-world projects so that they can hit the ground running as graduates and leaders in their fields. Now, none of this would have been possible without the leadership of my colleague, Lale Kodaparast, our Director of Research and Innovation, our incredible partners, faculty, investment, and support of government. And here to share a special announcement today is the Honourable Nolan Quinn, Minister of Colleges, Universities, Research Excellence, and Security. Welcome, Minister Quinn.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Ray, for the introduction, and to President Weaver for hosting us here today. It's great to be here at Georgian College alongside Minister Dunlop and Minister Khanjin. As the Minister who oversees research excellence and security in Ontario, I'm incredibly proud of the groundbreaking work happening right here in our province. Whether it's life-saving cancer research, advancing manufacturing through discovery, or unlocking clean energy potential, our researchers are building a stronger, more self-reliant Ontario. And never in our province's history has that been more imperative than it is today. As we face international instability that threatens our economy, it is through groundbreaking research that we will create jobs, attract investment, and improve lives throughout the province. Across critical industries like agriculture, AI, and life sciences, our researchers are building a brighter future for Ontario. A future where we live longer, healthier lives, where our businesses are on the cutting edge of innovation, and where Ontario is a global leader in key sectors. That's why, since we have taken office, our government has invested over $2 billion into homegrown research, including over 1,800 groundbreaking research projects. And today, when our province needs it the most, we're taking that one step further. Our government is investing over $47 million in critical economy-driving research across Ontario. This funding will support 195 innovative research projects at our world-class universities, colleges, and hospitals. From improving organ transplant outcomes to developing clean, long-lasting batteries, these projects are strengthening our businesses, our people, and our province. A great example of our research excellence can be seen right here at Georgian College's Centre of Industrial Assimilation and Prototyping. The centre is on the forefront of advanced manufacturing, supporting local businesses with cutting-edge technology, workforce development, and strategic collaboration. That cements not only Central Ontario, but the entire province as a leader in advanced manufacturing. With $1 million from our government, Dr. Koda Paurast and her team will further advance manufacturing innovation, create new jobs, and train the next generation of leaders in this critical province-building industry. And this is just one of the incredible projects supported through today's investment. With each dollar invested and each discovery that is made, our government is protecting Ontario's future. It's not enough to be competitive for today. We have to stay competitive for tomorrow, and research is how we can do that. In closing, I want to thank everyone here at Georgian College for your dedication to propelling our economy forward by fostering excellence in research and innovation. I look forward to all of the discoveries that will emerge from this funding, both here at Georgian College and across the province, to protect Ontario. Thank you all for joining us this morning.
We will now be taking questions of the media. The format is one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and publication at the microphone.
Hi, Mr. Quinn. Julius Hearn, Barrie 360. This college recently closed 3 campuses, or announced that they'd be closing 3 campuses last year. How did the province react to that news?
Ultimately, the difficult decisions are taking place right across Ontario and Canada with some of the unilateral decisions our federal government made. That is why, with Minister Dunlop, previous to my term as minister, we invested $1.3 billion to stabilize the system. And that's why we made another investment of $1 billion with Budget 2025 to ensure that we're producing the graduates that Ontario's labour market needs. But we are currently wrapping up a funding formula review, which we have been engaging with our stakeholders, including Georgian College as well, to receive feedback for our small northern and rural institutions to ensure that they are successful moving forward for the students they serve.
Understandably, that the closures probably amount to the cap on international students coming up. How does that affect the funding that the college gets, especially when it relates to research?
Well, as I had already mentioned, we last year invested $1.3 billion in January of 2024 on top of the $1 billion that was invested in Budget 2025. But the funding formula review is looking at the small northern institutions to ensure that they're sustainable moving forward for the future.
That now concludes today's press conference. Thank you.